There's a scene in Day of the Dead where a soldier named Miguel offers his body to a horde of zombies in order to spite his girlfriend. His ultimate plan was to coax the zombies into a bunker where they've been living together with a host of other scientists and soldiers. First, he goes outside to grab the zombies' attention, and then he runs over to an elevator platform where he curls up in the fetal position, and he waits for the zombies' approach. And then he lowers the elevator platform just as the zombies reach him as they begin to devour his body. And as I mentioned earlier, I think that Miguel did this mostly in order to get revenge on his girlfriend, Dr. Sarah Bowman, who happens also to be the protagonist of the movie. Miguel had been slowly losing his sanity for a long time, and during this period he began to resent Dr. Bowman because of her ability to retain her composure in ways that he could not. And the worst part of all is that Dr. Bowman's courage was mixed with compassion. She was looking out for Miguel in a paternalistic kind of way, to the point where she forcibly intervened with his duties at the bunker when he was losing his grip. He refused to take a break at her request, and so Dr. Bowman applied a sedative to him against his will to make him sleep, because Miguel was posing a danger to himself no less than others. But for Miguel's fragile ego, this was symbolic of an ongoing theme of humiliation. It was one thing for his commanding officer to relieve him of his duties, but in the hyper-masculine climate of a military outfit, where tensions are high under the apocalyptic threat of civilizational collapse, it was emasculating to allow a woman scientist, his own lover, to take control of his body away from him. And this emasculating disgrace comes to a climax a little bit later, when Miguel wakes up from the sedative and returns to his duties. He loses control of a zombie, and he allows it to infect one of his comrades, before it then takes a bite out of his own arm. And Miguel initially tries to simply flee the scene of the accident, in a fit of deranged humiliation. But then Dr. Bowman catches up to him and restrains him by knocking him unconscious with a blow to the head from a massive rock. And then the second he goes out, she grabs a machete and she amputates his arm, in a last-ditch effort to stop the zombie infection before it spreads to the rest of his body. And this is really the moment where Miguel finally loses his mind once and for all. He wakes up to discover that his body has been mutilated by his girlfriend, who has stripped him of his autonomy once again. And he decides to get revenge on everyone by fleeing to the surface and offering his body to zombies to coax them into the bunker. And the craziest thing about this entire scenario is that Miguel could have honestly survived this entire drama. He could have escaped the bunker with Dr. Bowman, but in the end he was captive to a fragile construct of masculinity. He could not bear the idea of being weaker than a woman and being ridiculed by other men. And so he used the final strength of his body to show that they were the same as him.